Welcome everyone to the F&A show. What are we doing here at the beach?
Well, it's Wednesday and why not? But really, imagine having an outdoor wedding, a beautiful ceremony outside somewhere on the beach or another beautiful venue and having drone footage capturing the entire thing. In this episode, we're talking nothing but wedding videography. Let's get started.
My name is Freddie.
And my name is Arik, and we are Wedding in Ohio, and this is the F&A show.
Welcome everyone, my name is Freddie.
And my name is Arik. Thank you so much for watching the F&A show. Of course, we want to acknowledge all of you recently engaged couples and say congratulations!
This show is to provide you insight into the entire wedding process by covering each major aspect, one episode at a time.
Right, we have DJ'd hundreds of weddings, and one thing that we see that couples don't budget for is a videographer. In this episode, we're going to take you through why that is and why you should really decide to hire a videographer.
That's right. We're going to take you through the top 10 list of finding a videographer, working with your videographer, and the options that are available for you.
And of course, we're going to tell you what you should be budgeting for your videographer for your big day.
Our special guest today is not only a professional videographer, but he is the man behind the F&A show who makes all these episodes possible.
And to wrap up the show, we have our top 5 wedding faux pas, and of course, a prize. We are giving away a huge prize today. You do not want to miss this. Stay tuned.
All right, let's get started. So, Arik, what is a wedding videographer?
Wedding videographer? That's your neighbor Hank. He really wants to get invited to the wedding, and he just says, hey, I'll do the videography for you for free. And then he shows up to your wedding with one of these.
Wrong. An experienced professional videographer is going to capture your wedding and compile it into a video that you're going to cherish for years to come.
And they don't have one of these. So not so funny story. 16 years ago, my wife and I did not hire a professional videographer. And Freddie, you were at the wedding. You were in the wedding. So we did not hire one. We had a friend of a friend that offered his videography services to us. He said, yep, no problem. I'll record this for you. So we did, yeah, it's gonna be great. It was not so great. He actually recorded the entire day and night in night mode. There were times he's supposed to hit record, totally missed it, or turned off the camera instead of been recording. So we got video of walls, we got the floor, we got ceilings, tables. Not the things that we're looking for. Some shots that he got, but overall, we really regret that. That is one thing that we just didn't hire a professional for, which we should have.
Yeah, and I did see that video, and it was terrible. I know after hearing that story, you're probably wondering, you know, should we get a professional videographer? And in short, yes, it is a must.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when my wife and I watched that, I mean, our hearts sank. As soon as we watched the video and missed dances, missed the garter toss, we missed 2 of the most important dances that we had, and some of the other things that happened throughout the night that were just completely missed. And what's crazy is like the couples that we talk to now that actually had a videographer, and we talked to them afterwards, they're like, oh yeah, we watched a video on our anniversary every year. And I'm just like, man, we really, really should have sprung for a professional to shoot that for us.
Right, and then, I mean, that's the big thing. When you're going with that professional videographer, you're gonna be able to relive those memories over and over. You're gonna be able to take that video and share it with people that weren't even at your wedding. Most importantly, you're gonna see moments that you might have missed that day. And then of course, your toast, your vows, and your music cannot be photographed. So getting that professional videographer, it's a great idea.
Yeah, don't do what my wife and I did.
All right, Art, so what should everybody be budgeting?
Well, pricing depends on what you're looking for. But your average price in Ohio is anywhere from $1,800 to $2,800. Now, of course, you could find somebody that's less expensive. You got more expensive videographers out there, but you've got videographers or videos you can put together that are $10,000 plus. I mean, this is like Hollywood production, cinematic video. It's almost like a movie of your entire wedding. But just for your basic needs of getting your video and all your important things that you've done at your wedding, again, between $1,800 and $2,800.
It is now time for our top 10 list of working with your videographer. Number 10, how much coverage do you want?
Do you want just a ceremony, or do you want the ceremony and the reception covering all your big moments? Number 9, come up with a budget.
Based off of your vision, you can now look for package pricing properly and budget accordingly. Number 8, check videographer's portfolio.
Make sure before booking that their style and their edits are exactly what you're looking for, along with their experience. Number 7, discuss vision.
Go over ideas and expectations for your video. This is going to open up conversation between you and your videographer that's going to create more ideas of what you can do for your video. Number 6, backup cameras and equipment.
This goes for all of your vendors, but your videographer should have a backup camera and other equipment in case the technology fails. Number 5, allow for extra photo and video time.
Videographer shots are very similar to photo poses. You're going to want to allow your videographer the same amount of time as you would your photographer to get those shots. Number 4, do you want to be mic'd up?
This is something you should determine before your wedding day. Do you want to be mic'd up during just a ceremony or just a reception or not at all? Number 3, announce videographer services.
At least let your bridal party know that there's going to be a video camera following you throughout the day. Sure, things can be edited, but you want everyone to be aware of live video. Number 2, distribute schedule.
This goes for all of your vendors. Everybody should know what's going on, where it's going on, and what time. Number 1, timeline for completion.
Depending on what kind of package you chose, you may be waiting a little while to receive your video. The videographer has to go through hours of footage, and typically there's going to be hours of footage that don't even make the final cut, so it might be a little while before you receive your final masterpiece. That is your top 10 list of working with your videographer.
Now don't forget, we still have a big prize to give away today, and we still have our top 5 wedding faux pas. But before we do that, we have our special guest. He's a professional videographer, photographer, and he is the man behind the F&A show, Mr. Chris Chavez of CC Media.
Dizzy from being spun, hung on every word, yeah, every single one.
All right, now in the studio we have Chris Chavez from CC Media.
Welcome, you're in front of the camera now.
Yeah, this is really strange. Who's working the cameras? Where'd everybody go?
It's all good.
Well, thanks for taking the time and
Thanks for having me.
hanging
Good
out
to be here.
So we've been talking about videography
Yes.
all day long here, and one of the biggest questions out there is, should I hire a videographer?
Yeah. You know what? It's definitely a great way to capture your day. I think it's worth it. Obviously I'm a videographer, but anyone who's ever gotten married, you know, they get photos taken, but I feel like every couple I've spoken to, and you touched on it earlier, that everyone wishes they had a videographer. You know, the difference between seeing a flat image of your day versus seeing everyone in action. You hear the sound, you hear people laughing, you see people dancing, and being able to watch that anytime after you get married, it's such a different experience versus just looking at photographs. Yeah, photographs are great.
Yeah.
You know, photographs are great. It's a great way to see something and remember it, but being able to rewatch those funny moments is just a different experience.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I was saying with the video that my wife and I got, which was shot by a friend of a friend, and this thing just was awful. And just, I know what it made us feel like, and a lot of the couples that we talk to now, and they're like, I don't know, I'm not sure if I want a videographer or not.
Right.
Every time we're like, yes, if you have the budget to do it, please do it. Or if you do have like a friend or something that's doing it, like talk about realistic expectations with them. Like if you're in a really tight budget, obviously you got to go that route.
And when you looked at that footage, like I'm sure you felt like crap after seeing it. You're like, oh man, that was a really memorable moment. And now it's the footage is awful. Can't see anything. It's too dark. So it's always one of those things when you're trying to pick someone to video your wedding. It's like we don't want to spend too much. Yeah, but you get what you pay for.
Sure.
Right? Being a videographer, obviously you won't be able to use all the footage, but you use as much as you can. We highlight everything that a photographer highlights. Those moments of with the bride and groom. We take very similar paths, but we just take turns highlighting the bride and groom. And then, obviously, you really want a skilled videographer, someone who knows what shots are important, how to, really work a camera around people. So things like that kind of go a long way. Yep.
Well, that kind of takes me to my first question. So, like your first initial meeting with your couple, is that things you go over? Like, what exactly do you touch on that first meeting?
So it's a great question. Anytime I meet with couples, it's first thing is how much you want to pay, like how cool you want the video. So it's really all depends on that. Once we get an agreed price on what they want, then we kind of go into the details of what they're looking for. And what I typically do is I send them samples of past work. Okay, how do you like this style? Okay, this was an all-day coverage. It's 45 minutes long. Are you okay with cameras in your face all day? Are you okay with these intimate moments being captured and then being shared? So those are going to be the important stuff that we talk about. But the number one thing is really figuring out what the budget is that they can do, because that'll determine the package.
Yeah. Well, what's your average package that somebody really is happy with that usually you sell the most of?
So typically it's an all day session, but I have been getting a lot of just ceremony. I don't I've never been hired just for the party, but it's typically an all day session. So it's typically 8 hours. We do the ceremonies typically, an hour to hour and a half. And then after that, there's a nice, we kind of join with the photographer and, we go to the same locations. We get those nice intimate shots of the bride and groom, and then the wedding party get drunk, and you know how it is, and yeah, it's from the ceremony on to the photos after the ceremony, and then to the wedding reception. The wedding reception can get a little crazy. People tend to do some things that they probably don't want to capture on video, so we're only there till about 9.
Yeah,
That's
we've
always good.
seen a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
going down.
yeah. As DJs, I mean, you guys are part of the problem.
We're
You
there.
guys play all this crunk music, and all these people just start taking clothes off and stuff. And I'm just like, let's
Right.
look over here. Let's see what Aunt Betty's doing. Oh, Aunt Betty's got her camera.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yep. We admit to nothing.
Nothing. So on that, like when you're doing those receptions and things, what do you do that you think makes you stand out to like fulfill expectations on that day to like really make that video?
You know what I try to do is I try to capture those moments at many different angles, and the key to making a great video is being able to capture emotion, right? Because without emotion, without watching a video and having any form of feeling, as I think is a bad video. So anytime you can capture people's emotions, people laughing, people crying, like the first kiss, the emotion on the bride's face, and emotion on the parents' face. So being able to capture those moments that's kind of how we capture it, or I capture it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's excellent.
It's a perfect, sale of a videographer. You can't get that in photos. That is so huge when you're watching that back. And like I said before, I would love to have a video that we could be happy with and watch year after year. I've been married 16 years. To miss that many years of being able to kind of relive that day, and eventually you kind of start forgetting some little details that you don't have. You can't go back and do it again.
Yeah. It takes a lot of skill to be a videographer, because as a photographer, you can be in a third row somewhere and just taking shots, right?
Yeah.
And being able to capture emotion from people. But as a videographer, it's hard to capture that from that far back. So when we're able to get close and be able to maneuver and not block the views of people, and carrying heavy equipment, that's it takes skill and experience to really make something cool like that.
So anybody that is still on the fence, still not 100% sure, do I want a videographer? What would you say?
Well, what I would say is that how important is the day going to be for you? You know, is it a day that you want to relive as much as possible? Then I would say yes. If you like watching, if you get teary-eyed and if you're an emotional person, that anytime you watch video, it like, you know, it's like
Trigger something.
like, you know, just raindrops coming on your face. I would say hire a videographer.
Yeah.
And it's so much more fun to share, I think,
yeah.
versus just photos.
Yeah. All the videos that we've seen from the couples that we've DJ'd is just, it's amazing. You know, they have that for the rest of their lives to be able to enjoy and even like show their kids eventually. You know, they have kids and hey, look, this is mom and dad.
Look how embarrassing this was. Yeah, I think that's being able to relive and rewatch that over and over again. Yes, you can hang pictures all over the house and you can see it, but being able to hear the sound, the music, the laughter, you know, just everyone just having a good time and being able to watch it. And it makes technology these days is so much easy to share things. Literally, you share it from your phone. You don't have to take out the DVD and then put it in your DVD player and hit play. You literally just find a link, you know, and woo, look at that.
So you mean you don't use these? These are no longer in use? I'm confused.
Some videographers may still use that. I would use that as probably a paperweight. That's like what you're doing. But I think, I mean, hey, we got to start somewhere, you know.
I mean, it's got a little light on there, you know.
The lights go down.
So yep. I feel like I'm being interrogated now. So yeah, that's actually wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
So that's the best part about the technology these days. The technology's improved where, I mean, you can literally take video from your phone, and
you can get great quality video.
You can get great
from
quality,
using your
but
phone,
Arik knows from firsthand what happens when you don't hire a professional.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just the equipment these days, the technology made it easier for everything as far as making video and then being able to share it like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that have no idea what this is, you were definitely not alive around the 80s or the early 90s. This was the Jam VHS recorder. I actually got this for my brother. He used this for years and years, so thank you for letting us use this. Well, we thank you very much for taking time to answer all these important questions.
If you need DJs.
If you need a videographer. Speaking of, Chris's information is right below. You can check that out. Make sure you get a hold of him. If you got questions, check his availability. I mean, we can't say enough about Chris and just the work that he does on this show. He's fast, he's efficient, everything always looks great. So definitely give Chris a try. I'll give him a call, talk to him. And I think it's time for you to get back to working behind the camera.
I know. Hang on a second. Let me go ahead and.
That was a good interview. Where'd he go?
All right.
Well, anyway, it is time to do our top 5 wedding faux pas. So that just means we gotta get
a little fancy.
That's right. Here we go. It is time now for our top 5 wedding faux pas. Freddie, what is a wedding faux pas?
Well, it is stuff you just don't do, like ever.
And no, none of it. You don't do any of this stuff.
Never. Number 5, not a time to rehash old grievances.
Nope. You might be on video and you're sitting there and you just want to bring up some old stuff from back in the day because you're upset about it. That is not the time to do it.
Number 4, the camera is not a microphone.
That's right. Video equipment these days has great microphones on it, so you don't actually have to be right up on it and talk into it.
Oh my God, I love you guys. I wanted to make. Number 3, don't be a shot hog.
We know everybody gets excited to be in front of the camera. And unless you're the couple actually getting married, you don't have to be in every single shot.
Number 2, making inappropriate requests.
You don't want to be tracking down a videographer for them to shoot some big surprise for the couple getting married. These could be inappropriate things or just things that are just way off the wall that just don't belong in a wedding video.
Number 1, make it memorable, not embarrassing.
Everything's on video. So if you got a videographer showing up to a wedding, there's got to be some kind of level of control on what's going on. And that wraps up our top 5 wedding faux pas.
And now it is time to give something away. Please like, subscribe, and share this video, and you are automatically entered in to win
a romantic dinner for 2 at Billy's and Capelli Martini Bar in Mentor, Ohio. They are providing 2 entrees from their signature series and 2 martinis. And don't forget, you gotta be at least 21 or older to be participating in the martini. All right, before we wrap this up, we gotta get a little serious. Take that from me. We know weddings are a lot of work. You have a lot to do, a lot on your plate, and you're stressed out. We know it. But it's so important to remember that day is gonna be here before you know it. It's gonna be over. So it is really important to remember to enjoy every moment.
Thank you to our special guest, Chris Chavez from CC Media, and providing vital information. We hope you found this episode helpful on your journey in finding a videographer.
And we hope to see you next time on the F&A Show for more helpful information.